I'm going to start off straight in saying I find it very interesting because every character in this film, it's the first time in a while that for me, they've all been self-aware of how culpable they are in what has transpired.
That's a smart thing for you to say, actually. I think they are extremely self-analytical, and it's one of their most charming attributes, actually, is that none of them are so pig-headed as to think they know what to do next. And I think that's part of what I like about all the characters, is even Georgette, Julienne's character, who you think has got it all together, she's in a way the most vulnerable of all of them. And I think that's well said.
Yeah, I mean Georgette. I mean all the characters, but I was just thinking of Georgette, like someone who could really like wrap themselves in their own righteous victimhood. Somehow is like actually
She even
when you
took
get
herself
in
to
there,
task for her
yeah,
part.
her part of it, and like Maggie being so sure that she's right about everything, and then discovering that she knows very little about how they. I mean, I think that's just having dimensioned characters too.
Well, Maggie is very, she's multidimensional because it is, like you're saying, controlling, but at the same time she's very aloof, which is a weird thing to kind of portray.
Right. Yeah. She's. Maggie is kind of. I based it a little bit. This is on a friend of mine who's one of my favorite people, and she utterly is so moral and so sure of herself, but it's by a rule book that nobody else has, but she will not break her codes. But the codes seem to be
A little arbitrary as to how they fit.
I mean, she just very flagrantly dated 3 people at once, and she had no problem with it. And I said, "Well, don't you feel bad?" And she said, "Well, why would?" And I said, shouldn't you tell them about each other?" And she said, "Well, that would just make them angry. But you have to recycle that." And I was like, it's like this kind of. But she's so untroubled in the way she moves through the world, and I love her. Anyway.
I was
That's too
devastated
much.
when I found out she was dating 2 other guys as well.
I
didn't
know,
what happened
me
to
too.
that.
I know.
We were
You
both
know.
cast aside, I know.
It's a.
Well,
it's a
as long
thing.
as I know now.
Yeah.
And now you're both New Yorkers.
Yes.
So is it still magical kind of filming everything here?
Definitely.
Always.
Definitely. There's not, I mean, to get to do a scene walking through Washington Square Park, or to get to have lunch at some great restaurant, some weird little diner that I've been eating at for 20 years while I'm working.
Yeah, great.
It's such a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
Especially, growing up loving Woody Allen movies is also an interesting thing, because you fall in love with the tone and mood of those movies. And this film, is definitely, a son or daughter of those films. I mean, it owes a debt to those movies. And I love those movies. I'm happy to pay that debt.
Yeah. I mean, also New York's just so bloody photogenic. It just looks great. I mean, I think it's, it's like Marilyn Monroe. You just can't go wrong. It just looks great.
The same thing going for having to, having another chance to sit down with like Wallace Shawn even for a small second scene.
That was a pleasure.